Hello, hello, my lovely audience. Welcome to another video. Don't have much to say except for the Frenzy What If coming out in a few days. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's just get on with the What If. So, welcome to What If Deku had the quirk, Phenix blood. I will explain the quirk in a little bit. But firstly, well, in this What If, first of all, Deku would actually be mute. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of what ifs that actually involve mute versions of Deku. You know, there's deaf, there's blind, but never mute. So, for the sheer sake of it fits with the original idea I had for this what if, and also it's never happened, it's happening. Second of all, in this what if, Deku would be the son of All for One. Yeah, him. Now, there's a reason for this, but, you'll have to find out in the what if. Anyway, let's continue. So then, everything's normal, except Deku's mute for the first 4 years. Still makes friends with Bakugo. It was difficult, but it happened. Anyway, Quirk Doctor. This is like a couple of months before All Might and the whole, permanent figurement thing. So, a few months, Masashi, Inko, both there. And the doctor would explain Deku's quirk. First bit. The rate at which Deku ages is slowed down significantly. By the time he's like 100, he'll look 15. But, it slows down and picks up a lot of the time. So, by the time he's 15, 16, he'll look 12. Now, the reason for this is I kinda got the, basics of this idea based off of Nezuko. Yeah, Nezuko from Demon Slayer. Also, like, the first bit of the quirk, so, yeah. Second bit of the quirk. Deku's blood, he has very, very high blood pressure in this what if, which is actually a part of his quirk, because, well, his quirk is that he can light his blood on fire. Yeah, Nezuko's blood demon art, pyrokinesis, where she can light her blood on fire. Now with Deku, it's similar, except for a few things. First thing, any blood that touches his blood can also be lit on fire. It's like a chain reaction with gasoline. Add more gasoline, the gasoline's gonna get lit on fire. Which is the same thing with the quirk. Second bit, it can go through Deku's skin because he can choose what burns. So he can say, you burn, but your clothes don't. And also, well, if he lights you on fire with the quirk, your entire body's gonna catch on fire because you have blood everywhere in your body. You're like 75-95% water. Well, 75-95% blood. So, almost instantly, you're going to catch a light. Anything that has blood is affected by this quirk. Also inanimate objects, but only the destructive properties. Now, the reason I say only the destructive properties is because of the, third piece of this quirk. It is actually able to heal injuries, which is why it's referred to as Phenix blood. Not just the longevity, but the fact that it does not heal, it restores. There's a difference. Healing closes up wounds, restoring deals with scars, and so on. It's kind of like a full body fix. Healing's like a cut fix. So it restores the body, basically. And, well, you're thinking, oh, so Deku's immortal in this what if. No, he isn't. Much like Nezuko in Demon Slayer, you decapitate him, he's done. He does not have enough blood to regrow his entire body. Because, well, his regeneration stems from his brain, not his main body. You can give him brain damage, his brain is the most important part of him because it's the only part that, if destroyed, cannot be fixed, as you would say. Yes, yes, if you detonate. Give me a moment. Okay, let me continue. Yes, if you detonate his brain, he'll have enough blood to fix it. He just won't be able to because he won't be conscious. Him using his quirk is a conscious decision, so take away that consciousness, and he can't use the quirk. Which is why his brain is the most important part of him. If he gets brain damaged and can't use his quirk anymore, because he can't feel it or concentrate on it, then he's done. So once again, head, most important part. Well, specifically brain, skull can go, but brain, most important part. Now, second weakness of the quirk, blood loss. Well, it's both a strength and a weakness. Deku relies on his blood for his quirk, so if he's lacking in it, he can't exactly heal or restore or use his quirk, or fix people. Here's one more thing. The quirk works on other people because they have blood in them. It can't fix a piece of metal, but it can fix a person. Anything that has blood can be affected. And, well, if you don't have blood, you can't be affected, so, once again, the quirk requires blood, and it will burn away your blood. It's an extremely powerful fire quirk because it can get past people with, fire immunity. They're burning from the inside out, and it's not them that's burning, it's their blood. Yeah, so it can get around people like Endeavor. Main caveat, you need blood in the first place. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay, let's continue. Anyway, eventually Hasashi and Inko would divorce, yada yada yada. All for one would get primary custody over Izuku. Not full custody, but primary. Totally not because of, a mind control quirk or something. A couple of months later, he would bring in Shigaraki. Him. Shigaraki. Crusty, dusty hand man. And they would quickly become brothers and friends. His dad brought him a friend / new brother, so, might as well. Anyway, the dreaded day comes of when All Might punches off All for One's head. So, here's how it goes. Deku, Shigaraki, All for One, on public, like at a restaurant. There, at I don't know, KFC, with ice cream, because everyone knows that the McDonald's does not have, a working ice cream machine. 500 years later, they still haven't gotten that ice cream machine fixed. So, yeah, they are just there, having a happy life. Then All Might attacks. Entire city block, wiped out within a few moments. All for One protects his sons with a few force field quirks, but yeah, it happens. All for One's head gets, the top of it gets punched off right in front of the two boys. From that day forward, Izuku has just silently sworn to himself. Give me a moment. I'm back. silently sworn to himself never to become a hero. Same with, Shigaraki. There's a lot of crying later. One quirk usage later, and bada bing, bada boom, all for once fixed. Uh, you know, restoring is overpowered. Once again, it's restoring, not healing. Recovery girl. She heals. She speeds up the recovery process. She deals with some of the damage with her quirk. Restoring is just saying no to damage and getting rid of it. And while All for One has blood, Deku has blood, his quirk works. All for One's in perfect condition. But it was still traumatizing, You would be traumatized too if you saw your father's head get punched off, even if they could fix it. It's still quite the traumatizing event. Well, the top of his head, but yeah, still. Whew. Anyway, yeah, time skip. Shigaraki's busy being retarded, I guess. LOV hideout. He's just scratching at his neck, saying, damn it. UA entrance exams are this year, and I still haven't come up with a good spy. Kurogiri would look at him and say, why don't we just say... Shigaraki would immediately say, no, we're not sending my little brother there. He is too precious for this world. Kurogiri would respond with, you're a genocidal villain. You actively enjoy killing people. I don't think you should be the one to be telling the, innocent cookie what they should be doing. The two of them would continue bickering as, in the background, just peep. Just Deku's making this face. All for One's passed out on a lawn chair. Classic dad energies. Shigaraki would sigh before saying, fine, you've convinced me. Kurogiri would nod before saying, plus he can't speak, so, majority of the time people will have absolutely no idea what he's thinking. Shigaraki would sigh once again, saying, fine, good point. I wish I could make a video game analogy here, but, he's my youngest sibling. I feel kind of wrong doing that. Kurogiri would just blankly stare at Shigaraki before saying, you feel bad about making a video game analogy about your little brother, but you did not feel bad about slaughtering that entire orphanage of parentless children and throwing their bodies out back in the dumpster. Shigaraki would nod before saying, yep. Kurogiri would sigh before thinking to himself, why was I created? Anyway, yeah. Izuku's the spy. And no one's gonna be the wiser because of the peep face. The peep face. Oh my goodness, I'm going insane. Anyway, yeah. So then. Entrance exam. There's no muttering from Deku. Ida does not yell at Deku for muttering because he's can't speak. Much rather he's having a conversation with Bakugo in sign language. In this what if Deku gets a pretty flashy quirk, so Bakugo isn't an asshole. And also he can't speak, so sign language is pretty obvious. He taught it to Bakugo so they could talk. Just got an idea. And Ida would get up saying, who brought their child? Seriously, who brought their younger sibling To the entrance exam, he would say, pointing at Deku. Bakugo would get up, extremely pissed off, before saying, he ain't nobody's younger sibling. Well, he is, but that's not the point. He is the same age as all of us. His quirk just makes him age a lot slower. Ida would just stare at him and ask, is this true? Deku would nod. Why isn't he speaking? Ida would say quite rudely, before Bakugo would say, no shit, he's mute. He can't speak. Sit down, Four Eyes, before I make you. With that, Ida just sits down. President Mike thinks to himself, finally, that piece of shit has been put in his place. As he would continue with the presentation, everything. So, gates open, Deku runs, like full sprint. Ida's about to say something dumbass before President Mike would say, hey, oh, I like that. Do what that kid's doing. Do it. Do it. He would quickly, and then President Mike would have a quick spout of deja vu, thinking to himself that he's probably done this over 100 times before in the past, and that existence is meaningless. Like, President Mike is having a, time loop moment right now, as everyone goes running out the doors. That's silly. Anyway, Deku's using a knife to cut his hands open, and then fires blood at robots before melting them. Remember, only the restoring works on the restoring only works on people. The fire does. The fire works on everything. He can burn anything from a refrigerator to a paper towel. Give me a moment. But yeah, he can burn just about anything. But the restoring requires you having blood. Anyway, yeah, he is just melting robots one after another. Uraraka's being crushed. Deku does the logical thing. He uses his quirk to, save her. How does he do it? How does he do this? Simple. He melts the rubble on top of her, picks her up, and runs off with her. Just like this 12-year-old running off with this 15-year-old? 14? 15. Once they get somewhere less dangerous, he would cut himself. Not, that edgy considering the what if. Some blood would splatter on her, she would panic before lighting on fire, and bada bing bada boom, her legs are now fixed. And also the cut is now fixed, on Deku's hand. The quirk works on him too. Reason why the only way you can kill him is via decapitation. She would thank him before asking why he's there, since he's, a child. He would get annoyed before sign languaging at her. She would tilt her head in confusion before picking. And then Deku would get even more annoyed before writing on the ground, I'm the same age as you. He picks up a piece of rebar, and writes on the ground, I'm the same age as you. My quirk just makes my aging slowed. She would go, oh, and nod slowly. He would also write down, I'm also mute. That was sign language. She would nod again before thanking him and running off. That's how that goes. Whew. Anyway, after the entire entrance exam, It's the weekend, he goes to his mother's, picks up his note once it arrives. Class 1A. You know, he's just. So, he gets to the school, everything's hunky-dory. He gets to the door, like the big-ass door, and thinks to himself, I will not fit in this class, will I? He's like 4 foot. He would just open the door and immediately be met with, Ida yelling at Bakugo for his feet being up, Uraraka, just chilling, Tokoyami and Dark Shadow bickering. Before, Deku would casually walk in, and Kirishima would yell, Yo, who let a child in here? That was not manly. Deku would get annoyed again. Not like anime villain annoyed, more like cute Nezuko annoyed. He currently looks as threatening as a teddy bear. Actually, he looks like a red panda trying to intimidate you. Look up that image. Look up red panda intimidation stance. It's adorable. They stand up on their back paws and stretch themselves up to try and look big and more intimidating, but it looks more like a teddy bear standing on its legs. It's adorable. Before he would sign at them, the same shtick he gives everyone. Kirishima would just say, I think he's trying to cast a jutsu. Before Aoyama would step in and say, how can you be so uncultured? He is speaking sign language, mon ami. I can't do a French accent, so I'm just gonna put mon ami in every sentence to show it's him being French. Tokoyami would sigh and say, Really, how can one person be so dim-witted? Before Dark Shadow would pitch in and say, well, you were that dim-witted until a few months ago. Before Tokoyami would yell at Dark Shadow saying, Hey, you're not supposed to talk about that! Deku would giggle a bit. Aoyama would walk up to him like, Hello there, mon ami, might I ask your name? Deku would respond with, Hi, I'm Izuku, I'm the same age as you. My quirk just makes me age slower. P.S. I'm mute. Just pass this message around. Aoyama would do that. The entire classroom, in unison, would facepalm, well, except for Tokoyami and Bakugo, and also Shoto and Momo. Those are the people who don't facepalm. Everyone else facepalms. Even Hagakure, even though you can't see her. As Tokoyami, just glaring at Deku, would say, I sense a darkness. Dark Shadow would just stare at him blankly, saying, You sensed a darkness in our toast this morning. It was burnt! That's what Tokoyami would be met with before Caterpillar Aizawa. Just like caterpillar form Aizawa. Aizawa would, get up, say, Okay, everybody, That was my best attempt at yawning without actually yawning. Give me a moment. The fake yawn gave me a real yawn. Anyway, Aizawa would yawn and say, Alright, we're doing a physical evaluation test. Everyone out on the field. Ida is about to do his, question before suddenly Aizawa would get a bout of deja vu, almost as if he's done this hundreds of times in the past and he is not paying attention to whatever the hell Ida's saying about assembly and something like that. Aizawa's just kind of having an existential crisis before him saying, you know what, just get on, just get your uniforms on and get on the field. I need to take a nap. I'm slowly going insane. He would say before just walking out as quickly as he walked in. He's still in his sleeping bag. He never took it off because of the deja vu. Everyone's getting dressed. Mayonetta's being a perv. Until he gets blood in his face, and then is lit on fire. He would scream about how painful it is, before suddenly all the injuries he received just vanish like a fart in the wind. As, Kirishima would pick him up and ask, "What was that?" He would sign, saying, "My quirk." Aoyama would translate. Bakugo's just too wrapped up about getting the highest score he can to be paying attention. Deku would look at him before thinking to himself, "Same old Bakugo. Same old, same old." Physical evaluation test. Deku would get double Mayonettas. Yeah, he's getting outclassed by a literal child. No, he would get double, Ida's. Ida's the one getting outclassed by a literal child. He would get average in, everything else, but the race. Oh, sweet mama, the race. Never has Ida been more disrespected in his lifetime. Deku against Ida. Deku would cut his feet, cut his hands, get into a preparative stance. Ida would look at him mildly concerned, before, when Aizawa says go, Deku's off like a rocket. He does not care about overheating. His entire quirk is about, what he's doing. Ida has to pace himself because, if he doesn't, he'll explode. So, just as if he was a rocket, Deku is just sent flying to the finish line. Getting there about a blink before Ida, which in this race is a long time, considering they're both two practical speedsters. Give me a moment. Yeah, anyway, let's continue. So, yeah, just that happened. Heroes versus villains. Kirishima paired up with Deku. Because timeline diversity and all that. Don't want the very fabric of reality to collapse. Joke. Anyway, yeah. So, Deku and Kirishima paired up against, I know, Bakugo and Mayonetta. Yeah, just enough diversity in there. Mayonetta replaces Kirishima, and Uraraka places Mayonetta. Replaces. Anyway. Oh yeah, quick little thing. Kirishima's the one who got one fall. Yeah. The bro has finally gotten his much-needed power boost. Deku would walk up to him before cutting his hand. His hands. Just, imagine this with Nezuko's little mouthpiece. That's Deku's hero costume. That. The mouthpiece actually it actually contains a large amount of protein shake in it, so he can get more blood in his system quicker. Yeah, it actually has a use. He would just walk up to Kirishima, cut himself, put his blood in Kirishima's hands, and bada bing bada boom, Kirishima has flaming hardened fists for arms. Uh, isn't this supposed to be hurting me? Deku would shake his head before, well, writing on the ground that, and he can choose what burns and what doesn't. Kirishima would just nod before saying, Damn, huh, you really got a lot of uses with that quirk. You know, Zoo Bro? Like, Izuku and Bro. Zoo Bro. I'm slowly going insane. Help me. That's a joke. Anyway, yeah. So, Bakugo versus Kirishima. The two titans clash with Deku riding on Kirishima's back. Like, just peep face the entire fight. Bakugo would swing at Kirishima, launching an explosion. Kirishima would harden his face to protect himself and Izuku, little rider, before Kirishima would swing with his flaming fists, Bakugo dodging before it hits the wall, cracking it, and then melting it, like melting a hole right through. Kirishima would pause for a second before getting excited at how much of a power boost this was. So they would swing at each other. Kirishima's kind of going to use one fall as his wild card. Just in case. Kirishima would swing again, Bakugo would jump back, launch multiple explosions, and stay away. As Kirishima would just run through it like the Juggernaut, as Bakugo would jump back. Go about his entire spiel about 4 months stored up in his gauntlets. Damn you, my high caffeine intake, you know, diet, I guess? What's the word for diet but liquids? I drink a lot of Coca-Cola to help me get through schoolwork. Yeah. Anyway, so, Bakugo goes on his spiel about 4 months, launches it right at Kirishima before Deku would just sort of on his back, push him out of the way, and take the brunt of the attack, leaving a big ass hole in his chest. And Hirošima's face would go white. Everyone's faces would go white in the recording room before Bakugo would just blankly stare as a, pinkish, reddish, crimson fire. Yeah, once again, based off of Nezuko's Blood Demon art. Even in coloration, would just emit from the holes and just sort of fix what happened. The injuries would just close up and disappear. Just like that. And just like that, everyone's jaws on the ground. Bakugo would look at the cameras and say, Really, you did not expect that I would know this would happen. I've known Izuku for my entire life. I know what can kill him, and I know what can't. And a little hole in his chest ain't gonna do jack shit. Plus the fact that hard-on boy over there definitely would have been saved, so it was fine. Fine. We go into Bakugo's thoughts, and he is panicking that he actually did that. Like, holy shit, if it wasn't for Izuku saving Kirishima, I could have been expelled. No, I could have been sent to prison. Holy shit, thank you, Izuku. Like, that's just what he's thinking, as he's just trying to play it calm. Anyway, Izuku would just sort of run by, with Kirishima and Bakugo carrying on like nothing happened, as Izuku would walk into Well, the bomb room filled with sticky balls. Mayonnaise sticky balls. Why did the pervert have to get the sticky ball quirk? I don't like saying it, especially since I have a perverted mind myself. Joke. Anyway, yeah. He would step on one of the balls, it would stick, so he would cut his foot and then burn away the ball. Deku would sigh, realizing that he's kind of running low on blood ever since the hole was put in his chest. Before noticing Mayonetta being weird and bouncing off the walls, and just sorta would cut his wrist, blood would spurt out onto Mayonetta's eyes. He would yell, "Not again!" as Mayonetta would burst into flames, screaming. Every female in the classroom would not help. Give me a moment. Back. They could not help but smile and giggle at Mayonetta's suffering. Deku would cut his other foot, lighting them both on fire, just sort of casually walking forwards and touching the bomb before reversing the effects of his fire on Mayonetta and just sort of putting out his own on his feet. Fun fact about the quirk, it uses whatever blood the individual has, so if he were to light you on fire, it would not cost him his blood, it would cost you your blood. Which means you can also you can die by burning to death and by blood loss with his quirk, so keep that in mind. So, yeah, he would just touch the bomb and walk out. All Might would announce heroes win, and that's why I'm leaving it off. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you next time, and goodbye. I had a lot of fun making this what if. I wouldn't mind making a part 2 if that's what you would like. Goodbye. Hope to see you next time. And the Frenzied Flame what if once again is coming out in a few days. Anyway, goodbye. Hope to see you next time, and bye bye.